Hello, and welcome to Inventors Helping Inventors. I'm your host, Alan Beckley, inventor of the Wonder Wallet. If you're an inventor searching for proven ways to make money with your invention, if you dream to see your product selling in stores everywhere, you've come to the right place. There's no better place to get help than from experts, inventors who've already achieved success. Every week, I interview successful inventors, asking them the questions you want to know. Tune in to learn from the experts so you can get your invention out of the tank and into the bank. If you've listened to this podcast for a while, you've heard me talking about the Inventors Bootcamp, right? Over the last 3 years, hundreds of inventors have joined us in the Inventors Bootcamp, and we have lots of exciting success stories from our students. But guess what? The bootcamp is not for everyone. If you like to tinker with invention ideas occasionally on weekends, hoping that someday someone will buy your idea, the Inventors Bootcamp is not for you. If you think it's your job to just come up with ideas and someone else can take care of the rest, prototypes, packaging, and contacting companies, the Inventors Bootcamp is not for you. But if inventing really matters to you, if you know deep in your heart that you've got an invention ripe for success, if you're willing to learn and do whatever it takes to be successful, I'm here to help you, and the Inventors Bootcamp is your ticket, your next logical step forward. So, what is it? When is it? And how do you sign up? The Inventors Bootcamp is 5 days of live interactive Zoom meetings. Monday, June 9th through Friday, June 13th, for 1 hour each night. Teaches you precisely how to create a clear, concise marketing message, which is exactly what companies want to hear. When you join us, you'll meet other inventors, plus you get a licensing masterclass, and lots more. The next Inventors Bootcamp starts very soon. Monday, June 9th. Enrollment is open now. Just go to www.alanbeckley.com/bootcamp. Many podcast listeners, just like you, have joined the Inventors Bootcamp. Here are just a few of our success stories. Duncan Ashworth has 2 companies interested in licensing his COVID-killing floor sanitizing invention. Daryl Carter secured a business partner and licensing arrangement. His asthma relief product was set to debut last fall. And Julietta Hughes tested her portrait artist invention. Now she's got a clear strategy for reaching out to companies to license it. Ready to add your success story to our list? The bootcamp is your ticket. Register now at www.alanbeckley.com/bootcamp to save your seat in the June bootcamp. Welcome to episode number 514. Today I don't interview anyone because today it's another me on the mic episode. But I have something to share with you that I think you will find valuable. And I'm going to give you a couple caveats as we get into today's episode. One is, I love analogies. If you listen to this podcast much, you know I sometimes get a little carried away with my analogies. So I'm going to be using some analogies here. And I usually avoid what I call diving into the weeds. But today we'll get into the weeds just a bit because I think it will serve the interest. And the topic for today is 3 technology tools for inventors. So I want to briefly talk about how things have changed for inventors in the last 20 plus years. So when I first started as an inventor way back when in 2002, I got to say the technology and resource landscape was very different from today. Back then, I had to search high and low to find technology resources that were both trustworthy and affordable to help me as an inventor. In 2002, there were truly few resources that inventors could turn to for help and leadership or guidance. My chosen path forward back then was trial and error, given few cost-effective resources. This involved many trials and a lot of errors. And let me share expensive errors. That's why on this podcast, I share with inventors today, there is no need to do everything by trial and error anymore. But in those days, that was kind of the method. And this is a key reason why my path to commercialization took so long. Well, now let's flash forward to 2025, and the landscape certainly looks different. I like to say, how things have changed for inventors. There is an ocean of sources available to help inventors, many of which are either free or very economical to use, including YouTube videos on every topic, coaches and consultants, webinars, free and paid, and many more. Well, back to my ocean analogy, the problem for inventors in 2025 is that we are literally drowning in technology. Information is almost infinite, but quality and accuracy is often suspect. There are popular programs that provide guidance that is just wrong. Well, I'm here to help. I'm going to throw you a life buoy today. And no, I don't mean a bar of soap. A life buoy to keep you afloat in an ocean of options in the information world. So let's get to the main topic here. Let's talk about 3 technology tools today for inventors. And all 3 of these that I'm going to share with you are either free of cost or they're very inexpensive. So technology tool number 1, AI search engines that I use. This is an expansive topic, of course, and we could really get into the weeds and into the ocean with this one. But I'm going to share with you the 3 AI search engines I choose to use, and that is Claude.ai, Poe.com, and Perplexity.com. Let me just share. These may not be your favorites. There are well over 100 AI search engines. Of course, ChatGPT and many, many others. But these are the ones that I use. And I'll tell you, my favorite to use is Claude.ai. I use the free version, which is sometimes throttled a bit during periods of high usage. But you can also pay a bit to get improved access. But for me, the free version almost always works. Seth Godin listed Claude.ai as one of his 2 favorites. And if you read anything that Seth Godin has written, you quickly become a fan of this man. He's just an amazing entrepreneur. My second favorite to use is Poe.com, Poe.com. It isn't free, but it's like $4 a month. I often go to Poe.com when Claude has high usage that limits some of my results from the free platform. And then my third favorite is Perplexity.com, which honestly I haven't really used much yet, but it is also a favorite of Seth Godin. It allows you to query in a more natural way, from what I understand. Used properly, AI search engines can perform tasks for you that not long ago you would pay a person or a researcher or a VA, a virtual assistant, to do. So properly used AI search engines are essentially VAs who can help you for free or nearly free. The key lies in learning how to provide clear, detailed queries to whatever AI search engine you are using. Remember the old statement, garbage in equals garbage out. So there's a bit of an art form to learning how to create effective queries for AI search engines. So let me dive into the weeds for just a moment to share one key way that I've used Claude.ai. And you can see how effective the use of Claude.ai, the before and after case. So I use Claude.ai to aid in creating comprehensive meeting notes for my coaching calls with inventors. So I record in Zoom meeting a typical 1-hour coaching call. I used to spend an hour to 2 hours listening to it again and creating the bulleted meeting notes myself. This was time consuming and it was actually poor use of my time. But at the time, I didn't know what else to do. And I wanted to provide valuable information for my students. Not only link to the video that they could watch, but bulleted meeting notes. So if they didn't have time to watch the video, they could get the key points and action items to take going forward. Well, I've learned that there's a much better way to do this, certainly a much quicker way, and I use Claude.ai for that. So now, after I finish my Zoom meeting, I get an M4A audio file. That's what Zoom drops it into, which I then convert into an MP3 audio file. Now, again, in the weeds here, there's a free online app called convertio.co that can easily convert any M4A audio file to an MP3. Now, in a moment, you'll see why I need that conversion. Then I use descript.com, descript.com, which is not free, by the way, to create a transcript of the entire audio meeting and download it into a Word file. So Descript, though, needs an MP3 rather than an M4A. So that's my reason for converting it. Then once I've got that Word file of the transcript, and this can be a 20-page transcript, for example, in Word, I just go to either Claude or Poe.com and I put a query and say, can you give me detailed bulleted meeting notes for the following transcript? And I just copy and paste the entire Word file transcript in there. Now, the whole process takes about 5 minutes from start to finish. You got to admit, 5 minutes is a lot better than 1 to 2 hours. Now, that's just a particular usage I do of it. You will find lots of other usages that are likely to be very different. But I thought it would be good to dive into the weeds just for a moment to show you the before and after use case and how now I'm being very well served by using AI search engines for this particular purpose as well as others. So that's my lengthy one. Now I've got 2 more technology tools for you to address today. So technology tool number 2, how to make your email subject lines more powerful for free. Now, like writing a book, like writing a novel or writing anything, everyone these days gets maybe 100 to 200 emails, especially in the work world. And the more effective and engaging that subject line is, the more likely they are to not just open it, but read the next line, and ultimately, hopefully, read your entire email. Because lots of emails never get read because the subject line doesn't really get their interest. So your goal is to take your subject line and make it more powerful and more engaging. So how the heck do you do this? I always suggest compile your best subject line that you hope will get attention and interest. And then there's a free app called subjectline.com. Subject line is amazing. So you just take your subject line, copy and paste it into subjectline.com, and it will rate your subject line on a 1 to 100 scale. In other words, how good is it? Maybe it's not so great. And it will give you specific reasons why you got rated as it showed. But even better, it will suggest 7 or 8 different AI alternative variants of your subject line that could make it more interesting, more intriguing, more impactful. It's just super. So anyways, so when you write the best subject line you can for that all-important email, then plug it into subjectline.com and see what it comes up with, see how it rates your subject line, and then look at some options it gives you. You may like one of those options better. So that's technology tool number 2, how to make your email subject lines more powerful for free. Now, technology tool number 3, how to find email addresses for company contacts. This is very useful if you're looking to license your product to a company. You know, you can use LinkedIn.com to find companies and company contact names. But how the heck do you get their email addresses? Well, it's more of an art than a science. And this does not always work. But what I'm going to describe for you is a free resource, and it's a very powerful one. Take 5 minutes and go to this website, hunter.io, www.hunter.io. Establish a free account by providing your name and email address. Now, one caveat, I think you do have to have a corporate email address, not a Gmail address. So, if you have a company name like Alan at alanbeckley.com, for example, that's a corporate email address. But if I used alan-beckley at msn.com, it wouldn't like that because that's not a corporate email address. But this is a detail. But anyways, all you have to do is provide your name and email address. Then just click on the Finder, and then in domain search, put in the company name. And it will provide some email addresses of various people within that company and various key individuals. You can also search by a particular individual within a company as well. That's a little bit more hit and miss. But the advantage of plugging in abc.com, I just made that up, as a company name, it will give you several email addresses and contacts, and you can see what the template looks like. Here's what I mean by that. If it's abc.com, we just made that up, and you just plug in to find some email addresses, and you start noticing it's like scott.smith at abc.com, david.jones at abc.com, susan.davis at abc.com. Now you may have a contact you don't find there, and the person's name is Cheryl Smith. Well, maybe try cheryl.smith at abc.com and see if it works. It also has a way to validate where you can check to see if the email address you're trying works. So hunter.io is just an amazing resource, and it's free. From a high level, we talked about 3 things today, a little bit of a lengthy podcast episode this time. And that is, we talked about 3 technology tools for inventors. And technology tool number 1 is AI search engines. And the 3 I like best is Claude.ai, Poe.com, and Perplexity. Again, you may have a different set that you like better, ChatGPT or whatever. Then item number 2 is how to make your email subject lines more powerful for free using subjectline.com. And we just finished talking about technology tool number 3, how to find email addresses for company contacts using the free resource hunter.io. Thanks as always for listening, and we'll be talking to you again soon. Thanks so much for tuning in to Inventors Helping Inventors. If you like the show, please tell your friends about it. Make sure to subscribe in iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts so you won't miss a single episode. Talk to you soon.